Welcome back to Rome Boys. We hanging with the saints.
Homeboys, Rome boys. Hanging.
We hanging with St. Francis of Assisi.
Yeah. We got work to do. Now, what do you need from me?
Yeah, the best. My confirmation saint. He's awesome.
I wouldn't call him the best.
Oh, he is.
I'm just Thomas Aquinas. Everybody.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
I'm going to have to settle a fight here in a second.
Let's get ready to rumble!
He was like, whoa.
Saint Rita, where are you?
My confirmation saint was St. Michael.
Okay.
Michael.
Yeah, you can break up the fight then.
Yeah.
You have to go to Assisi, Italy. It's the best place on earth.
That's awesome.
Gentlemen, we gotta go there
Before you go to Assisi, please stop by our YouTube channel and click subscribe.
Yeah.
Nice segue there,
Do
Joe.
not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Be sure and check out all of our social media outlets.
YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, Parler.
We're on them all, even
Facebook.
Patreon.
I know.
Check us out.
Check us out. Share our videos. Please.
Yeah, help support our mission and be part of the mission by sharing these videos with everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. So share with everybody.
There you go. Well, St. Francis is the patron saint of Italy, and Francis was a poor little man who astounded and inspired the church by taking the gospel literally. Francis heard in prayer, "Francis, everything you have loved and desired in the flesh, it is your duty to despise and hate if you wish to know my will." From the cross in a neglected field chapel of San Damiano, Christ told him, "Francis, go out and build up my house, for it is nearly falling down."
Francis became the totally poor and humble workman. He gave up all his possessions, piling even his clothes before his earthly father. He had no intention of founding an order, but once it began, he protected it and accepted all the legal structures needed to support it. His devotion and loyalty to the church were absolute and highly exemplary.
He was torn between life devoted entirely to prayer and a life of active preaching of the good news. Oh,
Both good.
Yeah. He decided in favor of the latter, preaching the good news, that is, but always returned to solitude when he could.
Sounds like Jesus, right?
Right. Yeah, right. Let me go over here and pray.
Yeah.
During the last years of his relatively short life, he died at 44. He was half blind and seriously ill. Like the dude came from a wealthy family.
The stigmata too, suffering from it.
Yeah,
we're going to get into that.
He came from a wealthy family.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have to be this way.
Hey, I don't have to put up with this. I'm rich.
He probably wouldn't have died at such a young age even.
Yeah.
Go sell what you have and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven.
It was a choice.
Literal.
Yeah.
Took it seriously.
Yeah, so literally, subscribe, do things that we tell you.
And share the
our
gospel.
website, romeboys.org.
There
That's
it
how you
is.
spread the good news.
There it
Yeah.
is.
You can pray about it.
Well, wasn't one of the things that attributed to him that whole, pray without ceasing and when in...
Or
how does it go?
Pray. But how does it go? Your words and your actions. Actions speak louder.
Yeah,
than
pray
words.
without
the gospel
ceasing and
at all
sometimes your
times.
words.
When
preach
necessary,
the gospel when necessary
use
words. He never said
Didn't
that.
they say that?
They don't have proof that he said
There's
that.
no proof.
But he lived it, right?
Yeah. I like it. That's good.
Yeah.
Words or actions speak louder than words,
When in
right?
doubt, use memes.
Picture tells 1,000 words.
That's right. There you
Well,
go.
one story, St. Francis was preaching to a crowd to a nearby vineyard that belonged to a priest. And the vineyard, as a result of the people, was ruined, and many were availing themselves to the grapes. Like, don't mind if I do. St. Francis
I
bargained.
saw that at the grocery store yesterday.
Did
Oh,
you?
really?
Gross.
I thought people were done
They
with
actually
that.
took a grape or
with
what?
COVID. Yeah,
Oh,
you thought
no.
like people wouldn't be eating food. Sorry.
No.
Well, you shouldn't be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
kinda
they
stealing.
paid for it. They paid for it.
Oh,
Let's
they
hope
took
and
it
pray.
along with them? Okay.
They didn't step on the scale. at the check cashier.
All right,
So
pray
anyways,
for
I'll
those
stop.
people.
Right.
St. Francis bargained with the priest. He first asked how many measures of wine were produced by the vineyard in total, and the priest said 12. Francis said, "Be patient with the people and allow them to eat freely of the grapes." In return, Francis promised that through the mercy of God, the vineyard that same year would produce 20 measures of wine instead of the 12. Makes a promise, puts himself on the line. Here we go, God. The priest trusted and allowed the people to eat freely. After Francis and the people left, the priest put only a few grapes that were left. So they really did take all the grapes in.
Wow.
And that remained, and they put the rest of the grapes in the wine press. As St. Francis promised, the priest obtained 20 measures of the very best wine with a few grapes.
I don't believe it.
Sounds like Jesus.
Yes.
No, so there's the miracle of multiplication.
There it is.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, there's another story it was about 2 years before he died. He had this vision or a dream or whatever you want to call it of this man standing above him. And it was more like a seraphim angel. And it had like 6 wings. And he had his arms out and his feet bound. And, well, he's basically on the cross. And it just kind of surprised St. Francis. But also he was like laying there in joy and excited about it. And then, but he couldn't understand. He couldn't figure out what it meant.
Hold on. Just a second. Let me make sure I got this straight.
And it really kind of scared him to a point. And then when he came to from the vision, all of a sudden these marks started showing up on his hands and on his feet. It was the stigmata coming in, and then even on his side, where the piercing of the spear, and but it bled.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't one of these Padre Pio.
Well, they bled
bled,
constantly.
but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So he would change it daily.
Yes.
Except for Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. He wouldn't wouldn't clean it up. He just wanted to experience the whole thing as Jesus experienced
honor
the
the
pain.
Lord's
and it was
passion.
painful the whole time. He was in excruciating pain the whole time. But so
He's the first saint to get the stigmata.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was a
wasn't
brother.
realize
Lots of
that.
times think he's a priest, but he was a brother.
Oh, yeah.
Of the order.
Yeah.
Saint Francis.
Crazy.
Yeah. He was no Sisi.
This is
He
true.
was not a Sisi.
No, Sisi.
The people complained to Francis as he traveled to the town of Gracio of frequent hailstorms. This is a crazy story, right? So they were destroying the fields because there's farmers everywhere, and the fields and vineyards, like you talked about the grapes. But Francis told them to repent and go to confession, and they did, and the Lord would bless them. But if they return to unholiness, that hell's going to come
Justice
upon you,
will
right?
come.
Justice will be served. Yeah,
Hellfire and
so
brimstone.
he actually said that it'll be double as bad as it was before.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the
Knock
people,
it off, you pagans.
Yeah. Father Larry. The people did as St. Francis recommended, and from that day, the destruction ceased.
Yep.
All right.
Crazy.
And the storms
You
would literally go to the edge of the town.
Yes, you're stealing my thunder.
Sorry.
and my hail.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so actually, Uncle Lynn had the same thing happen to him. He was going to get a big tractor.
I got stuck with a pretty pink tractor.
And he was driving to Nebraska from Texas, and he had this bumper crop. I mean, the most beautiful cotton that he had ever grown. This is early on, when he was first a farmer. And he said he got in the truck and he was in such a rush to get there. Well, he jumped in the pickup truck, shut the door, cranked it up, and then a hailstorm.
Oh, come on!
All the way just meleeed his crop.
Leveled it.
Aye.
Yeah.
Meleeed his crop. He was worried about going and getting this tractor because of the cost of it, actually. And he said, I literally saw the hail within the borders of my fence. He had a fence on part of his farm there. And it just, So he wasn't living right. I tried to tell him. No.
But he's right now.
So, yeah, he is. But that's a true story and very
he
relative.
might be watching, so we have to make sure.
Yeah, I hope he's watching.
He does.
I
I
hope
hope
so,
so.
yeah.
He does.
But unfortunately,
I bet he didn't go get the tractor.
no, he didn't. He didn't.
Took it as a sign. I don't
So
need that one.
what happened to the folks in Gracio is they turned away from their holiness.
Oh, come on!
And what happened? They were eventually, their crops were destroyed. And remember, he said doubly, right?
Yeah.
The entire city caught on fire.
Burned to the
Burned
ground.
it to the ground.
Ah, hail.
You ain't lying. So,
Hail, fire, and brimstone.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he told them what
You
to
gotta
do.
listen to the saints, man, when
Yeah.
they say stuff.
Yeah.
And when
You
you
better.
convert, it's a lifelong thing. You can't just do it for a few
It
years.
doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
It doesn't get easier. I think that's part of the message, right? You can you can keep on the path, and we're going to make mistakes. But
Sure.
like when God tells you to do something,
I'm listening.
What?
Sorry, what?
I was in the middle of talking.
And I was in the middle of listening.
But you spoke. Are you kidding me?
He's going to stick to his word. You know, he's just. He's just. So it kind of begs the question of, like, folks that say, you know, once saved, always saved. I mean,
Right.
this is.
You got to persevere to the end. the
Yeah,
scriptures
these
say.
examples don't exist just for temporal means. Like, the goal here on earth is to get to heaven.
Right.
God's sending us these signs, like.
Yeah.
Just
We need
stay
to
on the
stay in a
path.
state of grace at all
Yeah.
times. We could be
Yeah.
lost. Yeah.
That's why we
And
do
it's-
in Rome, boys. Jesus told us to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Come, Holy
Yes,
Spirit.
sir.
Okay.
I do like the meme though, St. Francis of Assisi's. You know?
Yeah, right.
Show that-
Cece's Pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we're not plugging for. Well, sure. It is dinner time, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is like
you got a lot of kids, man. You got to take them to Cece's.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's literally noon right now.
All right, perfect.
Central time.
All right, so we're gonna go grab us some lunch.
Oh, I missed.
So thank y'all for joining us for another Hanging with the Saints, St. Francis of Assisi. Check out all of our social media outlets, and in the meantime, be real.
Be bold.
And be Catholic.
God bless.